This video will show you 3 things that you must do in order to heal yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. I'm going to share with you things that if you do will accelerate the process and allow you to feel like you are who you are meant to be. Welcome back to another video. My name is Erin and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 things that if you do will make it so much easier for you to actually heal yourself. Now, first off, let's understand this process at a deeper level and how it really correlates with everything that we do and really who we are. Now, how we think, how we act, how we feel is all interwoven into the being of who we are. Now, the same thing goes with how we are emotionally, mentally, and physically. These are all intertwined. If we mentally are feeling healthy, it's less likely that we are going to get sick. Physically, if we're feeling emotionally stable and emotionally fulfilled, it's more unlikely that even if we're not eating as healthy, that we won't get sick because we are balanced out in a way to where we might overcompensate on one over the other. Now, in general, this technique and these 3 things I'm going to share with you will help balance all 3 of those out by becoming aware of this correlation. Now, understand that when it comes to how we emotionally feel, there are thoughts that we think that then cause us to feel a certain emotion based on the meaning that we give to certain things in our life, and that based on that there is a chemical reaction that happens in our body to that. Now that's physically what then may manifest as some type of feeling, and when there are certain patterns of feeling over time, that will cause some type of symptom. Now the symptom could be just joy or happiness, but on the other side of that there may be the feeling that we get with disease, which we could also relate to disease. So dis-ease equals disease. We are not at ease. Now the body will always do everything that it can to remain in homeostasis. Now understand that the first step to this process and the first thing that you must do is be grateful that your body is giving you this kind of message. Now, if you didn't have this message and you didn't have this ability to discern how you feel and the symptoms that come from it, that stem from it, then it could get to the point to where it just progresses until, we die. Now, we are lucky because we have a mechanism in our body that will let us know how we are feeling in correlation to what we are thinking. It will let us know how we are feeling in correlation to the food that we put into our body. And because of that, we can just start to gain the awareness and the gratitude for where we are right now. So sometimes people will find some type of sickness, and the more they focus on that sickness, the more that sickness becomes a part of them. The more that they are focused on something that causes them negative emotion, the more that gains power within them, and the more that becomes their reality. So you may have maybe seen the movie The Secret, where they talk about how powerful it is for us or somebody that is sick or has cancer to watch comedy movies, to watch something that increases their state of being. And it takes them off focusing on their disease and on their thing that they have, and then it redirects them to something that is much more fulfilling and feels much better to think about. So this is why when you shift your focus from the problem and you start to focus on the state of being and how you choose to feel, and the gratitude that you can have by reframing what is happening, by reframing the symptoms, that's when you'll immediately start to feel your power back. So the reason I did this one number first is because it gives the underlying basis that if you do this, you will start to feel better pretty much immediately. And then you could focus on the things that make you feel good. You could focus in the direction that you actually prefer. Now, the second thing you must do to heal yourself is the most powerful one. It is the thing that if you do will absolutely transform your life, and it has to do with forgiveness. Now, I've talked about this before, but the idea is that we many times are holding on to grudges. We are holding on to certain patterns based on what we are thinking that is correlating into how we are feeling and the kind of experiences we are having. So if we have resentment towards one specific person, even though it's towards that person at a deeper level, and this may be a conversation for a different time, but at a deeper level, we're all connected. And what we put out, any emotional energy or any type of thought patterns we're putting out towards someone else, in a way, we're putting out towards another version of ourselves. So by thinking a certain way about somebody else, we are hoarding onto that energy, And unless we let it go, that will manifest over and over again in different ways. Anger may manifest in certain accidents you might have. The idea might be that if you have resentment towards someone else or grief, that may manifest in certain type of bodily functions that aren't working correctly. There are many different ways that can manifest. But the idea is that when you start to forgive yourself, and this is also about forgiving yourself, not just the other person, because you might be beating yourself up about something that happened. Forgive yourself. Realize this is the most powerful way to forgive. Forgiveness is the most powerful way to heal, and the most powerful way to forgive is to realize that everyone will always make their decision based on their own level of rationalization. Now what this means is that you were doing the best you could with where you were, so you could forgive yourself. Maybe you did something you shouldn't have done. You go and looking back now, you're like, I knew better, but I did it anyways. Don't beat yourself up so much. Somebody else may have done something bad to you. Somebody else may have stole from you. Somebody else may have abused you. And understand that you can forgive that person, because normally somebody that abuses someone else has been abused before. Doesn't make it okay, but it does make it so you understand where they're coming from. It makes it so much easier to forgive. Somebody steals from you. They may have a belief in scarcity. They may have a belief that they are not enough, and that they have to do that in order to get where they want in life. So they have that. That's where they are at a level of rationalization. They have rationalized taking from you. That's why they did it. Doesn't make it okay. Just don't judge it and allow it to be something that happens. The other side of this is allowing and accepting. Accept the situation for what it is. Don't dwell on it. Anytime we move from the present moment to the mentalization of the past, we are taking ourselves and we're escaping the present moment, causing resistance. Accept what happens. Accept it and know that it's there for a reason, and it may just be there for you to know that you can go deeper within yourself and you can start to love yourself more. So forgiveness is something that's easy to do. You can think in your mind, you can imagine your heart, just imagine feeling within you and think to yourself, I forgive myself. I forgive anybody that's done wrong to me. I forgive anybody that's done anything to me. And as you start to do that, you start to release patterns that no longer serve you. Releasing patterns is the key to this whole thing, because any type we have a pattern that's consistent, that will manifest in certain symptoms in certain ways, and that may be disease emotionally, physically, or mentally. Now, the third thing that we must do in order to heal ourselves is to let go of the outcome. This is something I've had to learn, because even though I physically have been very healthy, sometimes I wonder and I look to myself emotionally and I see that there may have been remnants of my past, of things that have happened in my childhood, maybe being abused by my ex-stepmom or treated a certain way. You know, not allowed to have friends for a certain period of my life until my dad divorced her. There were a lot of level of control that had over me. And I'm becoming more aware of how certain people treat us in our life growing up, how we enact those same patterns on ourselves. So now, for example, I'm becoming aware that I am so disciplined on myself, almost similar to the way that someone may have disciplined me when I was younger. And I am holding myself to a high standard because of success and all of these things in my life that I want to attain. But at the same time, it's important to understand letting go and surrendering to a larger process. You see, it doesn't always have to be something that you have to work so hard for. You know, sometimes working so hard and believing it has to be so hard can manifest itself in some type of burnout, which sometimes I may experience. And even though I love what I do, I love making videos every day, I love the part of being an entrepreneur, I absolutely love the process. At the same time, I realize that I must also take care of my own vessel. I must also leave time for pleasure that's outside of just my passion of what I do. And by letting go, by surrendering, I allow myself to heal in a much more powerful way. Now, also let go and surrender when it comes to trying to control the outcome of your sickness. If you find that, you know, it's maybe some terminally ill thing, let go and surrender to the larger part of yourself. By doing that, you let go of the resistance, because the ego wants to control everything. And if you think that it's the ego's job to do so, you're negating the power of the body and the power that the body has to actually heal itself. So letting go, surrendering to the process is also such a powerful thing. Now understand also, our subconscious mind is running a large percentage of our life, and that, you know, the 5%, 10% of the conscious mind can only do so much. So the key is to reprogram the subconscious mind. So what I did is I created an MP3, something you can use that uses NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, that allows you to use certain technologies and certain techniques towards reprogramming your self-image for the way that you see yourself. That's something that I give away for absolutely free. That is something I believe can transform people's lives. Listen to it as you are going to bed at night, as you're drifting off into those deeper brainwave activity states of being. You'll find that it starts to have a powerful impact on how you see yourself. So that's something that's absolutely free. You can download it below. It's going to be at the top of the description box. And other than that, it's something that, you know, when it comes to this whole process, know that they all interlink into themselves. Physically, mentally, emotionally, if we become more aware of all of those things, we start to gain our power back, and then we can consciously decide how we want to be. Understand that as we also eat healthier foods, that will really help the process. You allow the body to heal itself naturally when you put in high vibrational foods, which could simply be nutritional like vegetables, nutritional dense foods. And as you do that, you're going to find that you feel better and you let your body do what it's actually meant to be and how you're meant to do. So remember, the first thing you have to do is be grateful that your body is giving you this type of sign. Emotionally, mentally, you're getting this type of sign. That what you can then do is, secondly, forgive yourself for anything that has happened. Forgive other people for any wrong they may have done to you. Understand where they're coming from their level of rationalization. Understand people will always make decisions based on their own level of rationalization. That makes it easier to let go, which is the third one. Surrendering to a larger process. Understanding the power and the job of your ego, but understanding it's not meant to do everything. So let go, surrender, allow, accept. And as you do these things, you'll find that everything begins to change. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Also hit that little notification here. The way that YouTube does things now is you actually have to hit that in order to see the daily videos that I do. And then other than that, as always, I will see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, namaste.